A former James Bond says it's now time for 007 to be a woman. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants Republicans to carry the stain of voting against impeachment, and Beto has a brand new right to impose on America. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. It's hard to believe that it's been 18 years since the attacks of 9/11. And I mean, time has gone by so fast. And I just want to remind you that as Americans and as a country, we always need to be on guard. We always need to be watching for those who are going to attack us and want to destroy our system of government, our way of life, the very foundations of America. And whether that's terrorism or whether that's leftist ideals that are trying to infiltrate every aspect of our society, we need to be on guard so we can do something about it. We're the only ones who can fight back. And it's up to us to stay informed, to be watchful, and then to act when we can. So, all right, we're going to start with James Bond because apparently the franchise is getting woke. Earlier this summer, you probably heard that in this next movie, 007, the role is actually going to be held by a woman spy for some period of time. We're not exactly sure the details of the movie, but here's a report from earlier this summer from the Daily Mail. It says, in what's been called a popcorn-dropping moment, British star Lashana Lynch will be given Bond's license to kill in the 25th movie in the franchise, currently being shot in Italy and the UK. However, traditionalists can relax. She's not the new Bond, but a new character who takes over his secret agent number after he leaves MI6. The story begins with Bond retired in Jamaica, but Spymaster M, played by Ralph Fiennes, calls him back in desperation to tackle a new global crisis. A movie insider said there is a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, "Come in, 007, and in walks Lashana, who is black, beautiful, and a woman." All right, so that was earlier in the summer. Now, former James Bond Pierce Brosnan has spoken out and says, this is great. It's time for James Bond 007 to be a woman. And here's his comments from a few days ago. It says, former 007 Pierce Brosnan says, it's time for male actors to get out of the way and make room for a female James Bond. Author Ian Fleming's iconic British spy would get a gender swap. It was up to the GoldenEye star. I think we've watched the guys do it for the last 40 years. Get out of the way, guys, and put a woman up there, Mr. Brosnan told The Hollywood Reporter Saturday at the Devel Film Festival. I think it would be exhilarating. It would be exciting. The actor gave an enthusiastic yes when asked if Lashana Lynch would be the right choice to replace actor Daniel Craig after the upcoming No Time to Die. So, we're going to get into my thoughts on that, but his comments just goes with the times. And to add to that, there's this other little tidbit that, as far as this new movie is concerned, that I wanted to share with you guys. Check this out. Actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge was brought in as a script doctor prior to filming and assured reporters in May that she would provide a product that treats the women properly. The property has just got to grow, she told the entertainment website Deadline. It has just got to evolve, and the important thing is that the film treats the women properly. All right, so they bring in a script doctor, and you know what that means. That means they want to ensure or elevate the level of political correctness now for James Bond. And here's my thoughts on this. Why not make this awesome spy movie that has a woman lead? You know, it seems to be the default position of feminists that the only way to advance the agenda is to replace a male role with a female. All right? Instead of making this new super spy, we're just going to make, 007 a woman. And it's just absolutely nuts. And we've seen great characters out there. DC Comics, under the guidance of Zack Snyder, produced some what I'd call not very good Superman and Batman movies. And then along comes Wonder Woman, and it's awesome. And then on the Marvel Comics side, you've got Black Widow and Scarlet Witch and these characters that are they're just cool and they're awesome in their own right. And they're not replacing some male character. They are who they are, and it's great. So why not make a new spy franchise with a woman lead? Because 007 movies, James Bond is James Bond. And we watch these movies not because he's fighting bad guys or because bad guys are being fought or evil is being thwarted, but because James Bond is the one doing it. He is the franchise, and he is who he is. He uses his gadgets. He womanizes, he tries to, flirt and do all of this stuff. That's his craft. That's who he is. And this idea that we can't have that anymore, And this is another thing that bugs me about feminism just in general, is this whole idea that all of a sudden men aren't supposed to be attracted to women. That's how most initial meetings happen. And all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we're supposed to, people are supposed to go to a bar and say, man, I really love how she solved that physics equation, especially the nonlinear damping. She was amazing. That's not how it works, folks. People say, whoa, she's good looking. They go and talk. They exchange common interests. They find out, oh, this person is nice looking. Not only that, but funny, intelligent, awesome. That's just human nature. And yet the feminists try to drive that out with this, oh my gosh, we can't have any of that. James Bond can't be looking at women. That's just wrong. It's just absolutely nuts. So next, from that nuts, we're going to go to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because all the lawmakers, they're back in Washington. So that means people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are scrambling for the nearest microphone so they can get on TV and say stuff. And her latest thing is impeachment. And here's what she told reporters the other day.
I want to see every Republican go on the record and knowingly vote against impeachment of this president, knowing his corruption, having it on the record so that they can have that stain on their careers for the rest of their lives, because this is outrageous. To protect the amount of lawlessness and corruption coming out of this presidency.
A stain on their careers? The Democrats have nothing. They've tried Russia collusion, Mueller report, all these investigations, they have nothing, and yet she wants Republicans to be stained just because they support the president. It's ridiculous. And here's more from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Do you want the speaker to take that message?
Any message that works, I would like them to take up that message. But personally, I think that it is beyond time, and we have to end this lawlessness and corruption coming out of the White House.
So it's just so funny there. She says we need to end the lawlessness and corruption. Well, what about the fact that she's being investigated for campaign finance violations? Her chief of staff is gone, probably to minimize the damage. She's being investigated. Or how about her pal, Ilhan Omar, who's got possible campaign finance and immigration violations? How about looking inside and cleaning up your own house before you go after President Trump with bogus charges just to score political points? It's just absolutely nuts. And next, we're going to talk about Robert Francis O'Rourke, because this guy, he's dropping in the polls. We've talked about that. And it's like he gets more desperate and he says weirder stuff. It's like, if I'm going to hold on to my 2%, I want to make sure that 2% is the farthest fringe I can imagine, because that's what he seems to do with all of his statements. Remember this one.
This is our final chance. The scientists are absolutely unanimous on this, that we have no more than 12 years to take incredibly bold action on this crisis.
So yeah, he says 12 years left. That's all we have. Otherwise, it's going to just go crazy. In 1989, they gave a similar report saying, we had 11 years left before everything goes to hell. 2000 came and went. We're in 2019 and everything's still going strong. Or how about this one, in which he blamed the drought in Guatemala on America?
And Guatemala, suffering one of the greatest droughts in their recorded history, caused not by God nor by Mother Nature, but by you and me and all of us in our omissions and our excesses, in our inaction in the face of the facts and the science and the truth.
All right, so now Beto is talking about a new right. They're pushing Medicare for all, which means health care as a right. They want to eliminate college tuition so that, college is a right, which means we're going to pay for it as taxpayers. Well, now he has a new one. Check out this tweet he put out. He says, living close to work shouldn't be a luxury for the rich. It's a right for everyone. So now living close to your job is an American right, which every time the left talks about an American right, what they mean is Here's a chance for government to gain more power and to impose more restrictions or more rules, more laws on the people. That's what he means by a right. And now he's talking about working close to where you live. Here's what he had to say.
Here's a tough thing to talk about, though we must. Rich people are going to have to allow or be forced to allow lower income people to live near them.
So can you believe that? The rich must allow or be forced to allow these low income housing to be built right in the upper class neighborhoods, which will destroy the home values. And it goes against what we look at as progression in America, working for the American dream. You know, you might go to college or just, get a job straight out of high school, get an apartment. If you become more successful, you might get that first starter home. You're all excited about it. Maybe you invest. Maybe you start a company that starts ending up getting big and you get the big house. That's the progression. That's what people strive to do if they can. And then he's going to have the government say, oh, we're going to destroy all that property value by building low-income housing right next to you. Well, you know what's going to happen? Those people are going to leave to another neighborhood, and now you've got a new low-income housing area. It's just ridiculous. And here's some more with his comments from that little meeting.
We force lower income working Americans to drive 1, 2, 3 hours in either direction to get to their jobs, very often minimum wage jobs, so they're working 2 or 3 of them right now.
I just don't get it. And here was a great tweet, a great response by Matt Walsh over at the Daily Wire. He says, first of all, there's not a single person in the universe driving 3 hours to get to a minimum wage job. Second, if living near your job is a right, then literally anything and everything is a right. The term has no meaning at all anymore. And he's right. What's next? We'll just sit back and watch, because I'm sure AOC or Beto or some of these people are going to come up with Bernie Sanders, going to come up with the next human right. It's just bizarre. So finally, I want to end with, we should start a segment that's just called #TooWoke, because the stories are getting more and more bizarre. This is an actual story from the Daily Mail over in the UK that's talking about lesbian penguins, and they're about to adopt. Okay. So check out this story. It says, a chick adopted by a pair of lesbian penguins will be raised gender neutral by its keepers. The infant will be raised neither male nor female at London's Sea Life Centre, where the family are kept. All right, so that's right. You have 2 lesbian penguins. They're making the news right there. And they're about to adopt and raise a gender neutral baby penguin, a chick. This is an actual news story. So here's more from the Daily Mail. It says, it's the first time the aquarium has had a non-binary animal, which comes 4 months after same-sex Gento parents Rocky and Marama acquired the offspring. If eventually the penguins get named, it will be given a gender-neutral name, such as Kelly, Alex, or Charlie, according to the staff at the Sea Life London. All right, folks. So that's our story. That was real news. I don't know why I ended with that, but when I saw that, I just couldn't believe it. 2 lesbian penguins adopting a chick that will be raised gender neutral. There's your news for the day. So anyway, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you on Friday. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour. Okay, friends, just a little reminder before you go, and no, this does not count against my 13 minutes. Please hit the subscribe button below and tell your friends. And if you happen to miss our last show, you can check it out right here. And also for great conservative news and commentary, please check out GOPUSA.com. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day.